For serious, divided, and illegal rebels, the craving realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Right. Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow. Very good, Mr. Chen. Go ahead.
For serious, divided, and illegal rebels, the creeping realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Right. Psychological blow. One psychological. Not three. Divided. Go ahead.
For serious, divided, and biblical rebels, the creeping realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Right. It's a huge psychological blow. Huge. Go ahead.
For serious, divided, and biblical rebels, the creeping realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Right. Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow. Right. Go ahead.
For Syria, divide and rebel, the keeping realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Not like, large. Logical. It's very logical. Logic. Very logical. Logical.
Psychological.
Psychological.
Logical.
Psychological. For serious, divided, and beleaguered rebels, the creeping realization that there will not be a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf is a huge psychological blow. Divided and beleaguered. The rebels, the group fighting against the Assad government, the rebels, they are divided. They're not all on the one page, so to speak. No, there's the Al-Qaeda group, and there is the Syrian rebel army. They are divided as to what they should be doing against attacking Assad. Al-Qaeda said, we're going to do this. The Syrian rebel army said, no, we're going to do that. They're divided and beleaguered. They are being attacked from all sides. They are in a very defensive position. They are being attacked by Assad, and they are even being attacked by other rebels. They're in disagreement about what to do. They are divided and under attack. The rebels. With the creeping realization. What does that mean? Creeping realization. That there will not be a Western military, a decisive Western military intervention on their behalf. A creeping. Right. In other words, the rebels are starting slowly to understand, to realize, wait a minute, whoa. We thought for a little bit that the Western powers would intervene and help. But slowly, creeping, they are beginning to realize, there is a creeping realization, oh, they're not coming. They're not going to do it. Slowly, realizing, becoming aware that there will not be a decisive, a determining intervention. Western military intervention. In other words, the Western powers are not coming to help. We thought they were, and we thought they were, and then slowly we began to realize through a creeping realization that they're not coming. There will not be a decisive Western intervention. A decisive intervention, one that would decide the outcome of the Civil War. It will not happen. They're beginning to realize it. And what was the result of that creeping realization that they're not coming? Well, I'll tell you. To the rebels, it was a huge mental shock. Wow. Frozen mentally, so to speak. Psychological, mental blow. They didn't get hit physically in the jaw. They were given a mental shock. Oh, we thought. You thought wrong. They're not coming. Oh, boom. We're finished. We're done. Well, they haven't said that yet, but they had a huge psychological setback. They thought they're coming. Here they come. They're going to save us. And all of a sudden, no, boom, out. A huge, big, very large mental shock. A psychological blow. Any questions about that?
Teacher, the creeping realization is from serious, right? Is the serious creeping realization? No?
The rebels fighting against the Syrian government are slowly creeping. The realization is coming to them that the Western powers are not coming. They are not going to intervene to help the rebels. And who was happy about that? The Syrian government. Aha! Wow, what a break. We thought they were coming and they're not. So Mr. Assad is probably having a second glass of wine, if he does drink wine. But anyway, creeping realization, beleaguered, surrounded, fighting against every side, divided, split. Western decisive to determine accurately intervention to come between on the behalf, on the side of, on their behalf, on their side. The other half of the issue. On their behalf, not Assad's behalf, on their rebels' behalf, on their side, is a huge mental shock, a huge psychological blow. Oh, wow. It's like going to the airport and finding out that your flight to Hong Kong was canceled at the last minute. I'm so upset. What a psychological blow. I was ready to go. And now the trip is canceled. A psychological, mental shock. Canceled? Oh yeah, there's a typhoon. Oh, right, okay. Any questions about the vocabulary? The pronunciation of those words?
About the confidence.
What?
Intervention.
About the
Creeping
of teachers. This article talk to rebels in the illegal situation.
This article talks to rebels.
Sorry.
English only, please.
Trong nào?
What the article...
This paragraph, I would like to know that I understand right or not. This paragraph is talk about to Syria divided and point to the rebel beleaguer that they are creating realization that about the military intervention on their behalf or Assad behalf is a huge psychological blow.
Exactly. Now, what the article is talking about is that the rebels fighting the Assad regime in Syria, for a long time, they thought that the Western military powers were going to come and save them and save the day. That was what they thought. And what happened is, as time went by, they began to realize that they're not coming. And when they finally realized that, oh, they're not coming to help us, it was a terrible shock to the rebels, because they thought that they were going to come, the Western powers, and save the day. But they didn't. What a setback. Divided and attacked from all sides, hoping that the Western powers would rescue them at the last possible moment, and then to find out they're not coming. Wow. A psychological shock, a blow. So that's what the article's discussing. The rebels and their disappointment in the fact that the Western powers are not going to take their side against Assad. A huge psychological blow. Any other questions about the pronunciation? Psychological? Many words of this length,
Is it an idiom?
Huh?
A psychological goal is the idiom.
No, it's not an idiom. It's an expression, psychological blow, a mental shock.
Shock.
Mental shock. Shock. You understand shock?
Yes. See? S-O-C-K. Shock.
As what?
S-O-C-K.
And they're beleaguered. But they're not talking about Syria and the rebels. No. Syria's rebels. They're only talking in this paragraph about, not about the Assad government, not about Syria itself. They're talking about Syria's rebels. Syria's rebels. What about them?
Why they put divided?
Because these are adjectives describing what the rebels are like. What are they like? Syria's rebels. Well, let me tell you, they're divided, they're split as to what they want to do. And they're also being attacked on all sides, beleaguered. So the paragraph is about the rebels in Syria. Syria's rebels. What kind of rebels? Divided and beleaguered. They're not talking about two different things. They're talking about one thing. Syria's rebel group.
Syrian rebel to opposite to
No, serious level. Serious level.
Apostrophe S. Syria's rebels. The two words in the middle are descriptive adjectives telling you what the rebels are like. Syria's apostrophe S. If I said Syria and the rebels, that's two different things. Syrian government and the rebels. No, Syria's rebels. What are they like? Well, let me tell you, they're divided and they're beleaguered.
Teacher, all this article that is support what Russia will believe that the rebels with aim of attracting Western military intervention in the conflict is support the reason of Russia, because it said the rebel creeping realization that so it support the reason of Russia.
Well, last year, the rebels were trying to attract Western military intervention. They were trying to show that if you help us, you'll be better off.
Yes.
But it is slowly, and for a while, it looked like the West was going to intervene, right up until a few weeks ago. In fact, President Obama said, uh-oh, chemical attack, we're going to make the Syrian government pay for that. And Syria, the rebels, were trying to attract a military response from the West. And now they're starting to realize that it's not coming. They tried to attract it a while back, but slowly, creeping, they began to understand that they're not coming. Wow.
Yes, that means
so
the
try,
reason of Russia is true, because rebel creeping realization that
they're not coming.
They hopeless for Western military intervention.
Right.
So Russia is true. The reason of Russia is true.
Russia?
Because Russia said the rebel with the aim of attacking Western, but now they are. This article shows that rebel hopeless to waiting for Western military to help them.
Well, it's not necessarily hopeless. There is a glimmer of hope, but it is a creeping realization that there will not be a decisive intervention. They probably still hope. It's not hopeless, because something could happen. But right now, it doesn't look like the West is going to intervene at the moment. There will be other decisions made down the line. Psychological blow, divided and beleaguered. Syria's rebels, Syria apostrophe S refers to the rebels. Intervention, beleaguered, rebels, rebels.
คุยกันจังเลยเวลาพูดขึ้นมาคุยแค่สับเป็นยากสำนวน
Islamic
ด้วยนะ
Syrian
หน้า
in
จอ
the
แบบช่วยบอกกัน
grip of
มันไม่
Al-Qaeda